Good morning, everyone. It's not very nice not seeing everybody at school, so thought it might be lovely if we had some contact and maybe shared some books. So when I was a little boy, there was a program on TV called Jackanory, where you had people reading stories to you. I thought we'd try and do something similar using the internet and using YouTube. So I've got a little lady here who is Florence, who is 3 years old, and she's picked some of her favourite books. It is you. She's picked some of her favourite books for us to read. I thought Florence being here will also show the mummies and daddies that even primary school head teachers struggle to control their children during story time. So just to prove that you're not doing anything wrong if you're trying to read a story to children and it's not always going well. So this one we've got here, this is one of Daddy's favourite books. It's called The Whale Song. It's by Diane Sheldon and Gary Blythe, and the little lady in here is Lily, isn't she?
Lily.
All the books we're using, the ones we've got at home, so they're a bit tatty, milk-stained, pulled, loved. Read it. Okay, bossy. Right, so we will start by reading The Whale Song. Look at it, beautifully illustrated. Is it a stone?
No.
I don't think it's a stone Lily's dropping into the water. What is it?
A flower.
I think it's a flower. And what colour?
Yellow.
Yellow. It's a yellow flower being dropped into the water. You might know from the title and from the first pictures
Whale.
what it's about. It's about whales, isn't it, this book? It's a beautiful story about whales. So, should we start? Lily's grandmother told her a story. Once upon a time, she said, the ocean was filled with whales. They were as big as the hills. They were as peaceful as the moon. The fish are there, aren't they, next to the whale? You can see them. They were the most wondrous creatures you could ever imagine.
I can see their teeth.
You can. I'm not sure that they've got too many teeth in the whales. I'm not sure they've got big teeth. We'll have to find out. But I can see the whales here, and like you say, the fish swimming all around them. Look, here we meet Lily. Lily
Grandma.
and her grandmother. Trying to get it so there isn't the sun on you. Lily climbed onto her grandmother's lap. I used to sit at the end of the jetty and listen for whales, said Lily's grandmother. Sometimes I'd sit there all day and all night. Well, you know the story, don't you?
I won't sing it.
Then all of a sudden, I'd see them coming from miles away. They moved through the water as if they were dancing. Look, can you see Lily's face? She's really staring at her grandmother, isn't she? I think she's loving the story. Oh, look, beautiful picture here again.
A stone.
It's not a stone.
A shell.
A shell.
A blue shell.
And what can you see out to sea? I can just see some big creatures breaking the surface and
A
water.
whale.
I think they're whales. But how did they know you were there, Grandma? I did just thump you, didn't I? Yes, I apologise. How did they know you were there, Grandma? Asked Lily. How would they find you? Lily's grandmother smiled. Oh, you had to bring them something special. A perfect shell or a beautiful stone. And if they liked you,
Where's the stone?
the whales would take your gift and give you something in return. What would they give you, Grandma? What did you get from the whales?
Sleep.
Lily's grandmother sighed. Once or twice, she
He
whispered.
sleep.
Once or twice,
He sleep.
I heard them sing.
Sleep.
I don't think Lily's grandmother is asleep.
Yeah.
I think she's just got her eyes quite closed, but she's talking to Lily. Don't think she's asleep. Look, and Lily's smiling at her grandmother. Lily's Uncle Frederick stomped into the room. You're nothing but a daft old fool, he snapped. Whales were important for their meat, for their bones, for their blubber.
Lily's a bit sad.
I think she's a bit anxious. She's a bit scared, isn't she? Her uncle's just stomped into the room. Look at her face. Look, you can see. I think she is a little bit scared.
He stomped.
If you have to tell Lily something, tell her something useful. Don't fill her head with nonsense. Singing whales, indeed. Look, You can see her uncle there. He's not very happy, is he?
No.
There were whales here millions of years before there were ships or cities or even cavemen,
Where's
continued Willie's grandmother. There
Where's
she is.
Lily?
People used to say they were magical. People used to eat them, boil them down for oil, grumbled Lily's Uncle Frederick. He turned his back and stomped out into the garden. There you can just see him disappearing.
Stomp.
Stomp, stomp. Lily dreamt about the whales.
Sleep.
She's asleep, you can see her there, look, sound asleep. And here we've got her dream. Lily dreamt about whales. In her dream she saw them as large as mountains and bluer than the sky. In her dream she heard them singing, their voices like the wind. In her dreams they leapt from the water and called her name.
Lily.
Lily.
Oh.
Next morning, Lily went down to the ocean. She went where no one fished or swam or sailed their boats. She walked to the end of the old jetty. The water was empty and still.
Where's Auntie Raspberry?
Out of her pocket,
Where's Auntie
she took a yellow flower and dropped it into the water. Can you see? Look, just there. This is what you saw on that first page, isn't it? You thought it was a stone. It's not. It's the yellow flower.
So the flower and drop in the water.
This is for you, she called into the air. Who's she giving the flower to? Do you know?
No.
Her grandmother said that she used to go and try and see the whales, but she had to give them a present.
And then stomped.
Uncle Frederick stomped out, didn't he? I think Lily is giving a present to the whales. I think she's giving the yellow flowers a present to the whales.
A present.
I think she wants the whales to come and see her. Look at that picture.
Oh.
Isn't it beautiful?
And then stomped.
He's still stomping, isn't he? Lily sat at the end of the jetty and waited. She waited all morning.
Where's
And
Auntie
all afternoon.
Frederick?
You can see him. Can you see him there? His silhouette. Look, because there's not very much light, you can just almost see his silhouette.
Stomp.
Where's Lily?
Gone.
She's sitting at the end of the jetty. There she is.
There.
Yeah. Then as dusk began to fall, Uncle Frederick came down the hill after her. Enough of this foolishness. Come on home. I'll not have you dreaming your life away. But that night, Lily awoke.
Where's Auntie
Suddenly.
Frederick?
He's asleep. He's asleep. Grandmother's asleep. The
Who's
only person
that
awake,
bed?
that's Lily's bed. Look, you can see. Because where's Lily? She's got up out of her bed. Where is she? She's gone to the window. She's looking out of the window. I think she's heard something. Shall we see? That night, Lily awoke suddenly. The room was bright with moonlight. She sat up and listened. The house was quiet. Lily climbed out of bed and went to the window. She could hear something in the distance on the far side of the hill. She raced outside and down to the shore. Her heart was pounding, and as she reached the sea, there... Oh, I've messed that up. She raced outside and down to the shore. Her heart was pounding as she reached the sea. There, enormous in the ocean, were the whales. They leapt and jumped and spun across the moon. Their singing filled up the night sky. Lily saw her yellow flower dancing in the spray. Can you see it just there? Look at her. There's Lily.
Lily.
Minutes passed, or maybe hours. Suddenly, Lily felt the breeze rustle her nightdress and the cold nip at her toes. She shivered and rubbed her eyes. Then it seemed the ocean was still again, and the night black and silent.
Where's the black one?
Come and sit up, have a look. Lily thought she must have been dreaming. She stood up and turned for home. Then, from far, far away, on the breath of the wind, she heard Lily, Lily.
Lily,
The whales were calling her name.
Lily.
And that's the end of the book. Hope you've enjoyed The Whale Song. Diane Sheldon and Gary Blythe.